Back to chatting more about Mad Lions and Virtus.pro here as we kick off our Flashpoint 2 playoffs. This is going to be a very fun matchup. And I'd like to start just by looking at our playoff bracket for a moment so you get a chance to see some of the matchups that might occur. Today, we'll be starting with Mad Lions versus Virtus.pro. Tomorrow, it'll be Dignitas versus Fnatic and OG versus MIBR. Later today will be Big versus Envy. Now, taking a look at this bracket so far, who do you think is going to make it to our winners final? Not the grand final, but the winners final.
Right. I mean, the thing is, the obvious one is, like, I think the big one, don't really need much argument. They're probably going to be there. Like, they're basically the tournament favourite. The question on the other one is obviously, who do you think, Fnatic or OG? Now, I can see good arguments for both sides. Like, OG's gradually powering up. Fnatic, it's clearly there. It's whether they can bring it out on an individual day. So, like, my gut says Fnatic, but I actually think brain says OG at the moment.
Yeah, Fnatic and OG have faced off against each other at least 3 times in the past couple months, and Fnatic have won 2 of those series. OG's won 1 of those. And it's the later ones that Fnatic have won. So at this point, kind of like OG should be adapting to what Fnatic's done to them. So I think OG actually do win because of that. Usually the team that lost should be stronger in the rematch.
Fair enough. Well, let's talk about our teams that we have here today, because Thorin wanted to discuss about how both of these teams are potentially dark horses of this tournament, which makes the matchup very exciting. Mad Lions, give me some reasons why Mad Lions could theoretically defend their title here at Flashpoint 2. What would have to happen for them to step up and take the first place trophy once again?
Well, they've already set the map pool, which is one thing I had concerns about when I heard this new lineup, because again, tactical and game leaders tend to go, let's get these maps right first, and then we'll move on. So that will often lead into a world where, like Forza, you're just picking your map into their strength. Instead, this team has shown, second ban and the pick, they are willing to adapt entirely based on the opponent. I even personally think, we'll get to this in a minute, that they did that Overpass pick potentially to warm up for a match like this, what they might do against Virtus.pro. So already they've got the map pool. I feel like that's taken care of. So then it's down to players. Like, in this particular matchup, I already think they've got the best player, which is A-Core. Now, the interesting thing to me, though, is it's Shush that is the guy who has to be the X factor, because actually Refresh has done his job very well in this team. I can actually understand why they made the pickup, why they made the role change. But the thing is, of the other players in the team, Roy is literally a journeyman who does his job, and Huxley is the in-game leader and not a big fragger. So there is only one man left, and that is Shush. And if you remember, Flashpoint 1, certain tournaments in the year, he can be a strong fragger, he can have a really nice game. The problem is, he's not a consistent star player, and he's the one where if he has a good series here, I have them winning.
Yeah, for me, I'm looking a lot at Huxley and Shush because, like Thorin said, Shush is a guy who's overperforming at Flashpoint 2 right now.
Yes.
He's doing incredibly well at his anchor positions and is that kind of second guy in on a lot of strategies. Huxley, for me, he makes himself a focal point of a lot of the strategies this team has. He's on these really strong pressure lurk positions. He kind of emulates the style that Blame F is bringing to Complexity, where he's oftentimes in the clutch, oftentimes in an impactful position that benefits from the misdirection that his team has created. So it's up to him to try to frag a little bit more because he's been very hit or miss. It feels like on third maps in a series, this guy just falls apart, actually. He's been terrible on third maps when it gets to that position in a series. So I need him to bump it up on those types of rounds or those types of maps, because it seems like when it gets tense and when things get hard for Mad Lions, he's one of the players that's first to crumble.
That's fair enough. And I'm going to ask you the same question about Virtus.pro as we move on to them. If they are going to be a dark horse of this tournament, how do they step up, and what does a Flashpoint win for VP look like, Maui?
I think VP right now knows their game. I think they understand that Yukinder is taking a lot of these opening early duels for them. They know that James is just magic. He's money in the clutch. And everybody else at this point seems to have fit their position rather nicely. The question mark for me going into the last couple months for this team was, how is Buster going to work now that they have another aggressive rifler? But he's done very well on top of that. So I think right now VP are in a really good state, that they're grooving in a way that has both the signs of a honeymoon period, that they're all just working towards the same goal, but their individual skill is also at a very high level too.
I would just pick up on that last thing. They must be the better fragging team. They must have the better individual skill if they want to win this particular matchup, because the guy on your screen now, I think everyone knows how I feel. I think he's mad overrated. He always turns up in the games that you don't expect him to, but what's the reason you don't expect him to? Because if you put him against the top 10 teams, 10 out of 10 times, you're not going to get the performance that you want in terms of a superstar player. He's not a guy who deserves to be like a top 10 player in the world, like one of those. Like, he's a guy where in his team, I think he plays his role quite well. And when he overperforms, they look amazing. That's where they get those huge victories. So in this particular matchup, he's already facing an AWP I consider superior. So I want to see some gym time. I want to actually see those clutches. And if he can have big impact there, I know your KiNK can frag out. So those two combined, that could be enough.
Yeah, James has had some really impressive matches so far here in Flashpoint, but they haven't come up against the big opponents, and they need to come up now, as you're saying, in these playoffs. Let's go right into our map vetoes first off, because we want to get into and sink our teeth into the actual analysis here, because there is a lot to talk about. We've seen a lot of matches across IEM, Blast, and Flashpoint from these teams in the last few weeks.
Right, the good news is they're both going to basically ban out what, in terms of eye test, are the best map for each of them. Like, Mad Lions already don't want to play Dust 2. They do not play Dust 2. We all know that's the one that you can't let VP pick into. And then on the side of VP, it just so happens their perma's nuke anyway. So that's never going to be played, which is the Mad Lions' strength in terms of individual form. So let's get those two out of the way. And then the good news is, I told you Mad Lions is willing to go anywhere, and they're willing to go anywhere on second veto. So as a result, being as they're going to pick first, this is where I'm quite interested. Like, my gut tells me it could be like the Overpass pick, or it could be Vertigo. They might try and throw something in here, mate.
Yeah, I think it's kind of a coin flip, but for both of these teams, actually, where they're going to be going. Because Mad Lions, like you said, Thorin, I think they're probably going to be going for... Actually, I think they're going to go for a Vertigo pick personally, but I could easily see the Overpass pick coming out from them. And VP, they've been perma-picking Inferno, but lately when I talked to Yakinder on my podcast, he actually says that they've lost a little bit of confidence on that map, and I feel like Mirage has been a map that has been shining for them through lately. They've taken some pretty big scalps on that map. OG, of course, was in the winners match, and they were able to take that off of OG when OG took their Inferno from them.
And obviously, Team Liquid did beat the exact same Mad Lions team on Mirage, so it would even have like the recent memory that you could play off a little bit, maybe even take something from that demo. They're taking quite a while here. Let's see what the first pick's going to be. We do get the Overpass pick. As I said, I suspect that what they were doing was, listen, they wanted to win Blast, of course, but they were also using Blast to test other parts of the map, which they're now bringing over to here. So we know that absolutely the guys from VP, that's Cloud9, they're not a joke on this map. This is not a map that you can take for granted, but that was a map that took a lot of T-side clutches from Jame and company to get that win. So I'm very interested. I think the Mirage pick would be interesting, but they go back into the comfort here.
Yeah, Inferno seems like a map that's kind of been hit or miss for them lately. I think they're 3-2, is that right, Monty?
3-2, yeah. 3-2 on it in the last few weeks.
Yeah, so it's kind of a little bit more of a coin flip for them, but they still have confidence here against Mad Lions, and I like to see that because they are playing into their strengths here. And Mirage, Inferno, both are maps that Mad Lions are capable on anyways, so neither one would be a huge punish in my opinion.
That's why the interesting part now is the second veto, because traditionally you would think it should probably be Train, but I could easily see the Mirage one for the aforementioned reason, because in this scenario, is VP actually going to pick into it? This is the scenario. I would love to have a Vertigo decided here. I think that would be really fun.
I think it's got to go Train. I feel like right now...
It's the right pick to go if you're VP, I think, yeah.
Yeah, all right. So we are headed to Train. As long as Art and Yuri's shenanigans towards the inner box halls aren't haunting the memories of the Virtus.pro players, I think they have a really great Train that they can play. I think that right now, Mad Lions doesn't have the aggressive type of players to get VP out of their comfort zone if it does get to that decider map.
I actually do agree. I think Virtus.pro is the better train team, but the thing is, I think the first two maps absolutely what the guys from Mad Lions want, so they have their chances for the 2-0 also.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Mad Lions is 0-2 on Train across all these tournaments in the past few weeks, so something they have struggled with just a little bit, that's for sure. Let's talk about some players from these teams, because I'm very interested to get your thoughts. There's some really weird statistics that we have right now coming through, especially on the Mad Lions side, which is Shush. So Shush has quietly, without us even really mentioning it at all so far, been the highest rated player in terms of HLTV at this tournament so far, and he is number one, as you can see right now, in terms of ADR at 94.4. But, and here's the interesting caveat, is one of the lowest players when it comes to opening kills. So Thorin, how is Mad Lions playing where he's getting so much damage and he's being so effective, but he's not actually getting a lot of those opening picks? What does that say about the style?
It makes a lot of sense if you think about what Maui said earlier. Like, if you're the second guy in, like, logically, maybe you won't be getting an immediate opening kill, maybe there's a back and forth there. Also, in terms of the CT side, that's why I actually don't think that can maintain at that kind of rate. The positions he plays as CT, if you don't die and you kill people, you're going to absolutely wreak ADR, but the point is they're incredibly hard positions to get a lot of kills from. Like, he's not the guy who's given all the resources in this team. That's why I think he can be an X factor and put them over the top with these performances.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I feel like right now, Shush, when he's in those anchor positions, I'd say A on Mirage, B on Vertigo. He's always set up with flashes. People are just bombing flashes over the walls for him to just say, Shush, peek now, and then he just swings, gets a multi-frag. But on maps where he's not tested as much, that ADR is surely going to be dropping off. If he has to play Rotate Strike instead of just Counter Strike, that's going to hinder his numbers moving forward.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see this, especially against this higher level of competition. Not to say that a match against Fnatic or a couple of matches against Fnatic were not. He's been able to maintain that in spite of the loss that they had in their most recent Fnatic match, which is very interesting. And also, it has to be said that Shush, his performance increased over the duration of last Flashpoint. He was one of those players that was quietly very, very good while we were really focusing on Bubsky a lot of the time, but he certainly did his job.
I mean, I think it ties into what I said. If you play some of these positions where, like, essentially to hold the site, you must kill them. Like, there's no running away, there's no hiding in those scenarios. Like, if the team succeeds, and especially if any of the other pieces, like, I did think A-Core had matches he fell off a little bit. I thought at times, like, they looked a little bit nervous in the big games. So as long as he can maintain his form, that's what makes the best Mad Lions.
And on the other side, we have a different player, Yakindar. Very, very different in terms of his style. And Maui, you had a stat that you wanted to bring up that talks about how this guy is getting a lot of these opening kills, and it's kind of the core of VP's style.
Yeah, so on the CT side, Yakindar right now, he is putting up above a 30% attempt rate in opening duels. And as we can see right here, he succeeds with a 61% success rate. That's
ridiculous.
Crazy. His numbers are just off the charts. Okay, 36% attempt rate. That is insane because every player should average 20% of the time they should be taking that opening duel. Just, 100 divided by 5. But Yakindar is going above and beyond. So the fact that he's also succeeding, teams know he's coming at them. Teams know he's going to be peeking you. They know that one flash play that VP is going to throw at you is coming, but it doesn't matter. His aim is too good. This guy is a human trigger bot for me. Every time I see his crosshairs on an angle, if someone walks into it, they are dead in a split second, every time.
I will say that one of my great pleasures in this event is that when we listen to comms and teams are playing against VP, that they get so triggered. I can't even, it's Flashpoint and I can't repeat what they're saying in terms of what happens when Yakindar swings on them early and really taking a lot of teams by surprise. He sounds like he's incredibly annoying to play against.
That's why the interesting thing for me is the Mad Lions response, because if they play correctly, the kind of Counter-Strike they play can punish that. If you know the person's coming, if you have the counter flashes, if you cover each other, listen, anyone who watched the career of Simple knows a better team can be even the best player ever. But the point is, I think this is why Maui favors the VP side. If a guy like that cannot be contained, he will wreck your entire structure. It's just game over. It's like a great edge rusher in the NFL or something. He'll just destroy the entire offense at that point in time.
Yeah, really exciting stuff. Let's take a look at our head-to-head coming in for this matchup. Shush and Yakindar, kills per round. It's interesting too, Maui, because you brought this up as well, or a stats guy, Yumi brought it up. Yakindar is about the same number of opening kills as Searson on Big, but he has twice as many deaths as Searson. So there is a double-edged sword to this play style.
Yeah, of course. Especially if you're a rifler, it's a lot more difficult to find those opening kills safely. You can't just take the one shot and leave. At times, you will be rushed down. At times, there will be a flash at that position, and you can't move away in time. So there is some risk with Yakindar's style. That being said, it's really up to the opposing teams to try to capitalize on that death, because VP are also incredibly well. In top 30 teams in the last couple months, they are the third best, or they are the best team actually at playing 4v5 on the CT side. They're better than Astralis, they're better than Heroic, they're better than Big, they're better than Mad Lions at it. So the fact that they can actually capitalize off of his deaths with that info also speaks volume to just how good this VP team is when he does die.
Well, that was some fabulous analysis. Let's get into actual predictions now, where you're going to put your pinnacle points where your mouths are. First up, we are going to take a look at our odds here, and it will be Virtus.pro. Oh, the leaderboard first, excuse me. And that's going to be zeros for everybody, because we're starting over this week. Interestingly, we are going to have multiple losers this week, so it won't just be the people on the very bottom. It'll be about half of us, I believe. So now you have to get into, I think, the top 5 to avoid being punished.
Just one of those Harvard commencement speeches, look to your left, look to your right, only one of you will remain after the all right, calm down.
So it took more people to get this punishment rolling, I will say. Now we can take a look at the odds. 2.34 to 1.91 from last night. This is when we were doing our predictions. So Slight underdog to Mad Lions. Did either of you take them as we look at our predictions?
Yes, I took Mad Lions. I actually think they're going to win anyway, but for me, this was more like a coin flip matchup. I thought because of the map pool, because of the contrasting styles, hard to know which one wins out, actually. We haven't seen it happen yet. So personally, I thought since it wasn't 50-50, I might have edged Mad Lions anyway out of my own personal biases, so why not take a gamble? I didn't go crazy. I saved some money for the guaranteed big, growth, like high yield interest compound account over there, so I just did a cheeky 500. Why not?
Well, knowing that we had to be in the top 50% to avoid the punishment, I went pretty hard on VP because, like Thorn said, it is somewhat of a coin flip, but I thought that if you were able to win this one, you can kind of just skate on by with a lot of the favorites moving forward. And so this was a position where I felt like VP, the map veto for me favors them. The fact that it's Decider Train, I just love that because I feel like that's just a huge edge to VP if we get there. That being said, I see a world in which Mad Lions are able to take it into, but I find it just so unlikely that VP style is going to allow that to happen.
Yeah, big on VP. And we are going to head to our casters now to defend their picks. It will be Bardolph and Haka. Both of you, small investment here into Virtus.pro. James, with the smallest Virtus.pro investment you could make. You were in the James Savings Bank skit earlier.
Hey,
you're not
saving
even
his money for a better investment.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly. I'm trying to be careful here. After the incident on the previous week, I don't wish to have a repeat of that. That really hurt me to do that dance, I have to say.
You didn't even do it very well.
I don't want to go back there again. So I think that this one is wide open, as pretty much your bets just on alone on the desk indicate.
Yes.
So I've put my chips in for the next game, and this one's a safety bet, really.
Yeah, I did 250 on Virtus.pro as well. Looking at everyone else's, Christine, 650 on Mad Lions. Pretty even split between Virtus.pro and Mad Lions, which makes a lot of sense considering how difficult this game is to predict overall. Could go either way quite easily.
The lady's choice.
What were your thoughts on this one, Hawker?
I just think VP, I look at their individuals, and just individually, if they show up, it's going to be hard for Mad Lions to deal with that. That was my thinking, but I'm with you, James. I went pretty small on it.
All right, well, Maui, Haka, into Yakindar today. Not going to be repeating his blast performance, I take it. We'll get right into our first map of the day now. So, Bardolph, Haka, take it away.
Virtus.pro, of course, one of my favorite teams to watch. Very interested in what this series will offer us. Again, I think, you can see from the bets that the guys on the desk made that this is a winnable series for Mad Lions. Now, I didn't realize that half of us were getting punished.
No,
Nobody
I
told
didn't
me this.
either.
I don't know why Maui's got the inside information. I feel like he should be just put in last place automatically for that because, I'm not getting these warnings. But either way, I went conservatively after the issues I had at the end of last week's show. So there we go. But I think this will be an interesting one. It's all eyes on Mad Lions as far as I'm concerned. They're the guys who have to show up and prove here. Although, well, for the most part, I think, Virtus.pro have had a bumpy ride of late, but I think Mad Lions are the ones who most people would expect to lose. So in that respect, it's all eyes on Mad Lions.
Yeah, I want to see what they can do heading into the playoffs. Some of these players pretty inexperienced. Hooksy especially, someone to keep your eye on as the IGL. See how he can do against a very skilled VP lineup. And we are straight into Overpass. Shush leading the charge right now. Every single Mad Lions player on this B side of the map, but there are so many CTs here ready to stop.
Oh, that's perfect. Just before they peak. Very good start, especially because Roy's been made a raid boss with a Tech 9, so he's got that run and gun, and here it is for that 4th kill on the B bomb site. Not often you see that on the pistol round. Virtus.pro wiped out, absolutely deleted, and already it might be time for James to save because, again, he can get an upgrade to his armor for that helmet for cheap. And at this point, if he gets 1 kill, it's $300. If they go for a force buy, then that's $650 for basic Kevlar. So there's not much for him to really do here, but just self-preservation.
That is really cool to see. I assume it's got to be some preparation work from Mad Lions that gets them that idea to double nade stack that on the pistol round. James going to go down at the end here. I'm not sure if the VP players had Kevlar on that boost or not. I think maybe one of them didn't have the armor. Might be nice to get a replay of that just to double check. But either way, what a start for Mad Lions. Just instantly winning that round, instantly getting on the board early. And VP have barely any money left in the bank. They will be buying a little bit though. Sanji's already gone for the Deagle. Kicker fully investing as well. So it will be a bit of an investment. Finally, VP fully buying up into this round.
Yeah, coming through late. And as I was talking about the armor and so on, James specifically will be saving for the AWP regardless, as we can see here. He will spend nothing in this round. And I wish more teams would do this. When you've got a strong sniper such as Jame on your team, start your first buy round with that AWP. I think that is of the utmost importance. You know, there's more than one way to play almost any situation in Counter-Strike, so you don't have to do it, but I do love to see it.
I always get a bit uncomfortable when there's an AK alone like this on one of these rounds. If Roy were to go down, maybe he could lose that AK. Then if VP get it, all of a sudden you could have all sorts of problems. Yekindar is close towards long, so if he got the timing right, he could go for the fight. And Roy's going to try and take this one. Great headshot from Roy. He gets back safely. Well worked for that opener.
Yeah, down to 50 HP though. One more shot from a Deagle could spell trouble. Nice to have an SMG player swing. Of course, that is long range, so maybe not the best place for it. 45 seconds on the clock. We can see some activity from Virtus.pro. Still in control of short B. I say control. They have presence. They got a 5-7 and a Deagle as well, so control could potentially be had. But now they've lost position on the B bomb site. Do they lose all this investment they've made, or do they just fall back and hope for something better? Well, I do wonder. Looked like maybe they were considering falling back, and indeed they are. 2 plays in the red already. And sometimes when you get that kill just as you're starting to fall back, it can encourage you to just lose everything. Hasn't happened here, however, for Virtus.pro. We'll see how many survive, but it will be basically another anti-force buy in the next round for Mad Lions.
Nice kills from Roy, cleaning up with that AK. Might have been nice for the MAC-10s to get some kills for the extra money, but the AK will have to do. And really, just taking away the guns from VP is probably more important here. As you said, making sure that next round is as easy as possible. And Buster's only going to save the scout by the looks of things. So that should make things much easier for Mad Lions in this next round. And already, just a solid start for Mad Lions. An explosive pistol round, then a much more slow and measured approach into the follow-up. They take a 2-0 lead. And this is a map we've already seen Mad Lions do pretty well on. I think it was Dignitas in the opening game who picked Overpass against Mad Lions, and Mad Lions won that like 16-6. We've got the AWP out for Jame. Wow, that is not what I was expecting, James. They're not buying around it, it's just the AWP.
Okay. So...
He's glass cannon as well.
I suppose maybe... I mean, they do some crazy maths, and maybe Yekindar drops one. I'm not even going to try and figure that out. Let's just see what happens. Very strange, taking Mad Lions completely by surprise. Very peculiar buy here from Virtus.pro, but I'm interested. I want to see what they can offer. They've left Jame alone on the A bomb site holding long, while the rest of his team will focus on the B bomb site. So we'll see how this one works out. Now, if he's able to get one shot here, as he may do soon, there we go. Very nice stuff. Now, what does this do to the rest of Mad Lions? Okay, James on A with an AWP. That's not really good for T sides, generally speaking, on Overpass. So what will their approach be? They've indeed abandoned all position towards that B bomb site. So they may go for what could be a suicide run. This is a strong smoke to know, though, which takes the angles away, so you can't peek, you can't dance around the site with the AWP. It allows players to get close. Now, you can leave a lurker in situ like you have here, or you could have a whole team behind it as well. Yekindar will be the man to go and find out the information. He'll spot one at the very least, maybe 2. Now that rotation begins. Question is, where is Jame?
Yeah, he rotated down to the B site earlier, so he's not really going to get back here in good time. You can see now Jame arriving towards Bank. I've got to wonder whether the save is in the back of James' mind when he buys this AWP in the first place, because Overpass is a massive map. You can normally get to a pretty safe spot to save that gun. And I think that's going to be the approach that Jame takes here, especially after losing the A site so quickly like that. Only having one CT there, that is always going to be in the back of their mind. So Jame will look to save the sniper. The rest of the team don't have too much. Buster has Kevlar, which he can save, but they're just happy to hold on to their guns. So Mad Lions managed to overcome the AWP.
I'm surprised how rare that smoke is that Mad Lions deployed. I can't think of another time when I've seen that in a professional match. I made one myself from short B, which goes up there. It does leave a little gap in the left corner from a T perspective. But as long as you're aware of it, it won't be an issue. But it does take the angles away from the AWP, a lot of strong angles from the site. Pretty much negated all of James' intentions. So that one's different to the one I throw, but the effect is the same. Stops the sniper from sniping. Normally you see the earlier grenades like the first smoke towards toilets, then the Molotov from fountain towards divide. I had to take those angles away, but you don't see that one as a follow-up.
Oh, Sanji saved a MAC-10 at the end of the last round, and he's going to stick with it for this one. The rest of the squad able to get guns. We finally get a full gun round together. Akor's got the AWP out for the T side as well, so we could see some of those AWP battles early. Now on Overpass, you can be pretty certain that that AWP is mostly going to be on the A side of the map on the CT side, and that means a quick B play could be the answer. Kick up with 2 early kills, but Refresh fights right back into a 3v3.
Yeah, Buster's at the point of no return. He got a mortar at least to give him some cover. The cement bags. Hooksy now holding an off angle in short B, waiting for a push, but Buster, he can't really go anywhere. He knows the B bomb site's compromised, so he has to wait. So Mad Lions maybe looking for a push that will never come, but we can see James holding angles downstairs now. Akor's scopes will be heard by Buster in that short B position. There we go. Ready to come back for Hooksy as well. That's a very nice cleanup from Virtus.pro. Shows you the importance of that monster smoke. Makes it harder for the burst from the T side. KiNK did well to get 2 in the first place.
Yeah, then James arrived on the rotate for that 1 kill. I was about to say, normally you can be fairly certain that the CT AWP is almost always going to go towards A at the start of the round. It's just such a strong position to be for the sniper to be able to peek mid and hold bathrooms, sometimes even hold A long. So they try and quickly pop into the B site, maybe to try and avoid that AWP early and just try and see if they can win a quick round and really get the ball rolling. But VP were really well prepared for it. Kick up being on the side of Monster there, being able to push up close was such a good position to be in, because I think the flashes were just soaring over his head. I think the flashes were aimed for players on the site, and then Kick Up can just get 2 kills before the push can really begin. That gives VP an early round, and that was an early timeout that Mad Lions just took ahead of this next round, perhaps figuring out exactly what they want to get in this one.
Very interesting start from Virtus.pro. I'd love to see a breakdown of the science behind that AWP buy. Very curious stuff. But here they are. Their first round is on the board, and they have a better buy than Mad Lions now with the MAC-10 on Roy. Sanji will be... he'll have a rare M4A4. Often seen with the SMGs, of course. It's a forward smoke through Monster from Mad Lions. Maybe just to invite Virtus.pro to dump some more utility. There was a Molotov towards the barrel on B as well, so... really encouraging VP to dump utility early, but as we can see, they've held on to quite a lot of it. They've got almost all their smokes, quite a few incendiaries as well, so they did not take the bait too much in that respect.
Yeah, maybe that's because they have 4 players on that B site already, so they don't feel like they have to use their nades there on the VP side of things. And now James, after babysitting that B site at the start of the round, is going to come back to A, and he's going to arrive in time. Mad Lions are just now taking Bathrooms control. James has to make sure he doesn't give away a fight too easily if he's going to jump up, but now he's just going to hold this angle. Still searching for information, but Mad Lions are still just preparing these smokes towards the site.
All this utility is anti-James utility as well. That smoke and molly we spoke about earlier, you saw at the beginning of this round, managing to tag but not frag. Falling back, which means he will lose some position. What's important though is that Yekindar has made his way up long, holding an off angle. Hooksy had a look, but Yekindar's around the corner. He can emerge late, but we can see Akor and Fresh actually looking for flanks, and Akor make his way towards long, which could be a factor as KiNK makes his way up the stairs. Oh, but he knows he's expecting this. Yekindar very patient, but won't win the duel.
Roy playing close with the MAC-10. He's going to go into the smoke. Flash comes through. Roy gets the first kill, and he nearly turns it round for a second. Proactive play from Roy with the flash from Shush, but there's still time for VP to try and get onto the bomb site. There's still a smoke for the bomb as well. They'll try and put that down now to cause some chaos. Here come Mad Lions, though, peeking and denying the defuse, and that should be the round. Sanji getting kills from above. They're on the bomb. Akor gets the spray, and that will be it. James will be able to save the AWP, but he won't be able to win his team the round. It's Mad Lions up to 4.
A difficult start for Virtus.pro on their CT side. I do wonder with that if there's a certain amount of people alive on a retake where when you have that one smoke, you smoke, say, the close part of toilets rather than the bomb itself. Or if it's always the bomb, it pretty much always is. Virtus.pro be back on the buy though. They'll get the bigger guns out. And I do wonder, if Yekindar gets that second kill on long from the flanker, how different things may have been. Anyway, it's a fast play from Mad Lions. They offered to fake previously. This time it's the real thing. Sanji focusing on short B. There's smokes up from the CTs as well, but there's the wrap. Sanji will do what he can with the UMP. He'll be traded by Hooksy. 3 versus 2 now as Mad Lions post up on the B bomb site.
Yeah, Kindar getting denied by that molly. The bomb's still yet to be planted, so maybe that gives VP a bit more time to work with, but this 2v3 retake remains difficult. You can see the utility continuing from Mad Lions. Finally, they're going to get that bomb to the site. This took a lot of time for them. Now the question is, can VP get an early kill here? Because the smokes are still up. They don't really have the best line of sight. And you can already see with 2 AWPs in their hands, they're thinking about saving. Yakindar's going to stick around, but James is already getting out of there. And something that I always find interesting about Overpass specifically is it's actually quite common for teams to have their 2-star players playing on the A side of the map. So for VP here, Yakindar and James are probably their best 2 players. They both play A on this CT side. And we're already seeing Mad Lions try and see if they can exploit this B bomb site a little bit more. And it's been working for them in some of these early rounds.
Yeah, we can see the development of the Mad Lions strategy from round to round. Again, the earlier round where they offered an execute into the B bomb site, at least with utility. The forward smoke through Monster, the Molotov by barrels, but didn't go behind it. Virtus.pro didn't take the bait. On this occasion, they execute and go in behind it, and they're successful. So they're mixing things up. They're offering evidence of A and then doing B. And so far, it has proven successful. Now, James been passive around the A bomb site for the most part. You know, holding an angle on long, but you can easily fall back from that. Hasn't really been around the toilets. We've seen the usual grenades there, so you could argue it would be a waste of time anyway with the smoke towards toilets and the molly divider and so on. But now with this repeated success from Mad Lions, I do wonder on the next full buy if we'll see some more aggression from Virtus.pro. And we will, of course, see some aggression in this one, considering their options here. 2 AWPs and a bunch of pistols. James will be in the toilets. Now, he doesn't know if it's safe to fall back from party. He has no support with which to do so, so he's kind of stuck in connector for now.
Refresh lurking towards this B site. May have heard some steps. Oh, he almost gets the fight, but now he's getting baited into the bomb site. These pistols could try and gang up on him here if he's not careful. Refresh realizing he might not be in the position he wants, but he still gets the headshot. Well done by Refresh to get away, but Yakindar's got him locked in. Flashbang does land, so Yakindar gets forced back. Nicely done by Refresh to get away with his life.
While that action was happening on B, there was a 2-man push-up long from Mad Lions, which met some players from VP on the site. There's a smoke up now, and you can see them holding position. So I don't think it's clear to Virtus.pro where exactly the bomb is going. They've seen presence on B, presence on A. You can see Yakindar's looking for something, threatening to push Monster, trying to decide where to put their players. Mad Lions of Hughes and Roy either side of long. Grenade streaming into the A bomb site now while the bomb waits elsewhere. They'll be aware of this, Virtus.pro, that they haven't seen the bomb just yet. Yakindar now alone on that B bomb site, but he can hear them running. He's got the sound cues and an AWP, so surely this spells trouble for Mad Lions.
Oh, we can just hold this angle. Oh, misses the first shot. Yakindar trying to turn it round, but those missed shots are devastating. It's still a 2v2, though. It's still doable, especially as Sanji sneaks onto the site. He saw the shadow, but Shush just swings on him. James gets another kill. He's on for the ace right now. It's a 1v1 against Hooksy, who's going to play the bomb back from short. James has the kit, but Hooksy's going all the way around to Monster, and I don't know if James is going to expect this. He's on the bomb. He's sticking it. Where's Hooksy? He's got a peek. He's not peeking. James sticks the defuse, and somehow VP win the round.
That was very back and forth. Mad Lions making the decisions real hard for Virtus.pro. Again, presence really committed to A in a long position, and then the same on B around the Monster area as well. But no sign of the bomb for the longest time. They split the defenses, and really comes down to some narrow misses, especially from Yakindar around his short B position. But James able to turn it round and go for the brazen full defuse while scoped in on short with the last player on Monster. Just for their second round. It may be a curse, though, because we'll still see another buy coming from Mad Lions, and we have to question how strong VP's buy will be, because once again, they've only survived with that one player.
If anything, it felt like VP had even more chances to win that round, because like you said, if Yakindar hits 1 or 2 of those shots, they could win the round right there from those kills, or they could be in an even better position. Got to give props to James again. We've seen him win so many clutches on this map in this tournament. It's been ridiculous. That one, he just locks in the defuse to win his team the round. And now ahead of round number 8, we get another full buy for both teams. In that all-important AWP battle we heard talked about on the desk, I think it's fair to say so far James has got the better of it. Akor's had the AWP a couple of times, but he's not had the same sort of impact. James was playing pretty passively to begin with, but he's just stepped up huge in that round. I'd love to see a bit more from Akor now. He's got the AWP in his hands again.
VP, they play so many rounds where there's only one player on A, which is often James. I feel like the respect he commands with the AWP allows him to just sit on A alone, basically. Often not long because he knows the grenades are coming around the toilet's position. Just wonder how many teams are brave enough to just run up toilets one day with a fast execute. But for now, it will be the slow pace from Mad Lions. Refresh, he's surely got a kill here. I don't think Buster can escape this. Indeed, he can't. So VP have to assume that short B is compromised. You can see Refresh has fallen back. He knows there'll be a focus on short B, so he pokes into Monster instead. Really good for the entries is Refresh. He can have his teammate Flash in front of this pillar as well if he's in position. I think A-Core is. Yekindar's going to get caught out as well. This is just looking like a disaster of a round from Virtus.pro. Pulled from pillar to post, and they've got nothing to show for it.
33 seconds left, and Mad Lions will begin to group up to this B site. Jame is here. He's not been flashed early, but Kicker's been taken out of the round, and now Jame has got to think about getting out of there. He lands that first shot, but a 2v4 retake is so hard. 2 Molotovs land at his feet as well. It's more than likely going to be the save call here. Bomb will be planted momentarily. And for VP, they are sticking around, but Mad Lions aren't going to give away these fights too easily. I think, like you said, James, in that round, it felt like Mad Lions just kind of poked and prodded across the map to get those kills. I also think something that VP do very often is when they go a man down, they're almost always going to go aggressive somewhere, it feels like. And you saw it in that round, right? Yakindar tries to get aggressive towards bathrooms, but that lurk smoke was there that you were talking about, which gave a really good fight for the T side. So I think Mad Lions did a pretty good job at staying spread out in that round, realizing there's probably going to be some aggression. They spot it out, and it makes it a much easier round for them. That is now a 6-2 lead for Mad Lions. Overpass, their pick, working well for them so far.
I think Refresh is a great player for Mad Lions. Just the way he finds entries. We saw it on his previous teams as well. We saw it in Flashpoint 1. He's quite a problem to deal with.
He was brought in to replace Bubsky as well. That's what they were saying. He's kind of filling some of those more Bubsky roles.
Yeah.
I think they said that Bubsky was someone who normally would make those plays by himself a bit more, whereas they're actually trying to set up Refresh for these plays sometimes. But in that round, that was all Refresh on that kill.
Yeah, he always finds a crack with which to crawl through. Very good discipline around that pillar as well. He knows if he swings to the right and if James is upstairs, he's dead. But again, there are T flashes that allow you to swing through Monster, and they go off behind that pillar.
VP loves switching up their CT setups, don't they? They've got 3 players on A this time. Very unpredictable.
Yeah, and again, I think they've been compelled to be more aggressive now because they've just been passive and been on the receiving end of whatever Mad Lions want for the most part. There we go, the usual grenades to isolate the AWP angles from inside toilets, then a molly for outside toilets and so on. So again, there was an aggressive play from Virtus.pro, but they weren't able to get anything from it. Mad Lions happy to play that slow game. And if you don't have presence in connector, you can't stand party forever. And now we see 4 again on the B bomb site, and once more Mad Lions are just creeping in, and they're going to get another free kill here. KiNK goes down for gratis. Buster's here to trade, but would expect more coming from Mad Lions.
Roy landing that kill onto Sanji, and now the flash is into the B site. Buster goes down. Great shot from Refresh, and he's looking for further entries. Jame is going aggressive, though. He's going to try and fight this, and it's not going to work for him. Both players fight him at the same time, and even with 4 players on the B site, VP cannot lock it down. Hooksy's going to get this kill at the end here as well. Wow, Yakindar spotted him. Oh, Hooksy loses that fight. So Yakindar's going to upgrade to an AK. But Mad Lions are in pretty good shape right now in terms of their rounds. That's going to be a 7th round win for them. It's hard to know exactly what went wrong for VP in that round. It felt like they had the right read. Even though A-Core got that early kill, I thought the rest of the players would be able to set themselves up in better spots. But the aggressive fight for the site just didn't work.
Yeah, Monster seems to be a big problem for Virtus.pro at present. Mad Lions are able to, in the mid-round, simply walk into Monster. And if they put 3 players there, they can just swing onto the site, and there's not much that VP are doing to avoid it. Obviously, if you like walk and peek Monster, then there could be an AWP there or something. But the way it's being approached at the moment seems to be a problem. KiNK jump peeking from the barrels and getting killed from Monster is not a common frag you see, so there is definitely a giant hole in the defenses of Virtus.pro. Mad Lions looking very good at the moment. 7-2. So now we've got the hero AK-47 from Yakindar. And the odd smoke grenade for Virtus.pro. And maybe this is a round where they can try and discuss how they'll change their approach. Again, they've started passive on A, they've gone aggressive, they've gone around party and so on, but they've got nothing to show for it. Mad Lions playing a slow pace. You can see them around the playground position right now. Being very, very careful and really limiting what James has been able to do.
KiNK is another player who's having a quiet performance for VP as well. I think this is a map where KiNK isn't going to be able to get away with as much aggression, I think, with how big the map is, especially on this A side. But as soon as I say that, he goes aggressive and it works out for him. Shush gets caught out early. The flash into mid, though, really nicely done. Forces Sanji away. Hooksy just crunches in from the long bathrooms. That AK has been taken out of the hands of Virtus.pro, and that should make life so much easier for Mad Lions here. Only the pistols they're up against now. They're up into a 4v2. It's looking like another round win for Mad Lions. Even with this flank from Kicker, I doubt we can get that much done with a 5-7.
Now you have to wonder about time. Refresh rotating to collect the bomb. Oh, is that going to be on the radar? Surely, yeah, I think it's come up on the radar. Even if you didn't notice the player there, there'll be a question mark at the very least, and that will allow him to clean up. 25 seconds. You never know. I'm sure it'll get planted for toilets, though, with Roy in position to stop a flank, and Buster has announced his position, so the danger is over here for Mad Lions. At least in terms of planting the bomb. So again, this is a chance for Virtus.pros to think about how they want to approach the coming rounds, because this is a pretty horrible CT side so far. Okay, Buster. 3 more to find. He hasn't got any Kevlar here, so it's just his Deagle and his flashbang. So basically he's got nothing to lose. Can try and do as much damage as possible. May help them in the rounds to come. Oh, close, but not quite. Some flicks, some taps, some tags. But no more frags. 8 rounds for Mad Lions to the 2 of Virtus.pro.
This is where we'll see if VP want to switch anything up. We could maybe see some more aggression on the B side of the map. Perhaps taking B short away from their opponents could be a way to start one of these rounds, because I think in general they have sat back on the B site and tried to set up crossfires, which just haven't worked for them in most of these rounds. So it might be time for VP to try and take that away. Hooksy there throwing away his Molotov at spawn to get an extra flashbang for this round. Clearly wants to prioritize having those flashes in his hands, as Mad Lions are indeed going towards the B side of the map early. There is a CT molly here, but there's also a molly from the Mad Lions side, so the CT aggression is slowed. Buster is still sticking around, but he's going to get caught in the open. Buster only good for 1. He gets traded out.
See KiNK playing very close to that smoke, which has been thrown by Hooksy at the beginning of this round from T-Spawn, more or less, and here they come again. The numbers game overwhelming the B-bomb side, but there's more to do. We've got Sanji playing in the water. His position will be known now, and maybe KiNK can play off of this distraction. Just waiting, but he can't win the duel, and there's a chance maybe for Virtus.pro now as the utility continues to be deployed. These smoke grenades cut the site in half and really slow things down. Gives the CT some breathing room. A will be heard running in connector, however, and the bomb has made a retreat as well. Now, there'll be some rotation from Virtus.pro. We can see KiNK making his way up with 20 HP. James still on deck with the AWP as well, heading towards the A bomb site. Just under a minute on the clock for Mad Lions, so there'll be more fragging before the planting, that's for sure. And now Hooksy's alone. 1 versus 2 on the bomb site with Sanji rotating as well. And KiNK seems to be activating now. 4K in round number 11. Start as you mean to go on. A late start, but not too late, not just yet.
Yeah, KiNK had been playing the A site in almost every round before this one, and I think they were just losing B so often that he couldn't have impact. But this time playing in connector, he's able to use that aggression from Buster and the information to get in behind them. And that's the switch up that VP were looking for. They don't fight too aggressively for B short, but they do get the round. We've got a P90, James. Refresh whipping out the P90 in this round. This could be a quick one.
Straight in again they go. KiNK with the spray this time. He's learning, but he's running out of bullets. That leaves Sanji in an awkward spot. Again, the numbers just overwhelming. Perhaps with a double angle from these CTs, something can be done, but Sanji's only good for 1. 1 and done won't be enough for Virtus.pro here. Nice grenades though. Roy down to 32 HP. A-Core creeping. KiNK looking for him, but A-Core's sharper and faster on this occasion. Man advantage now for Mad Lions. Smokes are up, which will slow things down once again. We can see James creeping on the X-ray. Looking for players who might be Around the back there. Buster got to be careful as well. That smoke's not going to be here forever. Up on the barrels now is Roy with the bomb. He's just 2 bullets away from death, but it can't be saved. Again, the numbers for Mad Lions overwhelming on this B bomb site time and again.
It turns into a 3v3, and at that point, if Yakindar wins that fight on short, I think VP are probably going to go on to win the round. I think that was the fight that basically decided the round there. As soon as Acor got that headshot, you can see these early trades brought it into this position in the first place. Sanji was able to get one from the site, but this kill just gives so much control back to Mad Lions. VP were already keeping Mad Lions off the site, so if they had a player on short as well, they would have had a really solid chance to win the round. But that one fight makes all the difference. Acor getting an all-important kill for his team. Now it's 9-3 Mad Lions. They have been in full control of this game. It really has felt like they've been able to get that B site whenever they want.
Yeah, they've got a bunch of mix-ups as well that they've been deploying from round to round. Now we've got Jame with the AWP. Does he dare peek Monster, I wonder? Can see him around that B bomb site. Yakindar alone in the meantime. Because this has been the problem. That Monster tunnel. Yakindar's got to be careful with this Deagle. He's the only information in the upper area, still holding his angle. Now, I do wonder if Roy will look to swing and look towards toilets. Maybe Yakindar can fire off at least one shot before Roy realizes what's happening. Here comes the push again. Sanji may be the one to run distraction, trying to bait them into Jame. So far, so good. Acor's here as well, but so is KiNK with the 5-7. Things are falling apart now. Yakindar and Roy moving on the upper ground. Somehow Yakindar's made it into connector. He's got some sound cues as well. Buster will spot someone short B and fall back somewhat. Yakindar's playing the off angle. I'll explain that one in a second. The bomb's gone upstairs. I'm not sure if you've seen that. They're both up top now, so we've got a 2 versus 5. But can they even plant this bomb?
Not going to be easy. Hooksy planting on the bank side. He's got away with it. He's going to try and get aggressive for the post plant, though, and this is where the pistols could really wreak havoc. Sanji gets the kill up close, and Roy is so screwed here. He's stuck on the truck. There's no way he's going to win this. Jame with the instant trade, and VP finally getting a 4th round on the board.
Okay, so Yakindar's Yakindar's angle, his angle by the stairs in connector.
Yeah.
There's a certain place where you can crouch, where if a T is coming around the corner, I think his gun model blocks him from seeing someone who's sitting in that position. So it's a very strange scenario you can find yourself in there. Virtus.pro with an unlikely 4th round. The fashion in which it went down doesn't give me any confidence for the future ones with what we've been seeing on the B bomb site, however.
Oh, they're out of money, though. Mad Lions are broke. Kind of surprising, considering...
That could certainly change things.
Yeah, it really felt like Mad Lions were going to have enough money for a buy in this round, in my opinion, but apparently not, especially with that bomb plant. I thought they were going to be fine. Well, this could change things. Yeah, like you said, if VP gets 6 rounds on the CT side, that's still in the game, for sure. It has felt like Mad Lions have been dominating. You can just see on the scoreboard at the top of your screen, VP have never been able to win consecutive rounds. It's always been one round here, and then Mad Lions come right back with round wins. But this time, we should see a 2nd round in a row for Virtus.pro, considering Mad Lions aren't going to have a massive amount to work with.
Well, I suppose Mad Lions will have to settle for targeting 10 rounds on the T side. Nothing to complain about, really. Their utility usage has been really good as well, so they definitely need the money for that. Got a double Molotovs from Virtus.pro, which will allow Yakindar to try and isolate. Patient spray, but you can see maybe a little cold, or maybe he's not actually with that transfer. Perhaps he's not. Maybe he's just being very careful. Either way, this will be a much-needed round for Virtus.pro. Shush, it's a question of damage for him, and there won't be any. Well, there we go. That's a nice confidence boost from Virtus.pro or for Virtus.pro rather, as we move into the last round of the first half.
Yeah, that's a play that Virtus.pro run a few times a game, maybe once or twice, where they go for this deep smoke as well as the mollies towards the A side of the map. It makes it really difficult for Mad Lions to have multiple players through there, so Yakindar then gets a flash in, which gives him such a favorable fight on the blinded player, and he's able to clean up quite easily. Last round of the half, Acor has got the AWP, as has Jame. We will see if it's going to be double digits for Mad Lions or a 6th for VP, which would keep us somewhat close. They're leaving Yakindar solo A again.
And again, it's the slow start from Mad Lions. I love this angle. with the AWP. Kindar knows not to go beyond it. However, he will eventually, and he will fall. He's so forward that most flashbangs will probably go behind his head as well in that scenario. But again, he's come up short. He has nothing to show for that. James has made his way towards long. Early problems for Virtus.pro. Mad Lions continue slow, again, being very careful around these toilets. The rifle support has gone from James, if there was ever rifle support. I'll create some space for himself with the smoke. See what his next plan is. Not sure if it's safe to make it towards the site. That smoke will certainly help.
Oh, wow, he wants to push behind it, though, and there's already a player on the close side of it. James doesn't know. He's dead for free. Hooksy getting an early kill towards A. And now Buster could meet the same fate on the back of this smoke. It should be a better fight for Hooksy, but he pulls a smoke out just as Buster gets aggressive. The bomb's going to start going back to B. The question is, can VP get back here in time? And oh no, they're all rotating away. Kicker just left the B site. He's going to get back, but he's not going to be in a great position to stop this. And what a shot from Shush, opening up the site, and Mad Lions playing with VP in this round.
Yeah, I think that's a great example, just those rotations of how this entire half has been for Virtus.pro. Haven't known what to do or how to keep control. Now we've got Buster with the AWP 1 versus 3. Scoped in early, trying to avoid anyone hearing, but A-Core is ready, and so are Mad Lions, it seems, for this series. 10 rounds on the T side of Overpass, a stonking start for them. We'll see if they can keep it up in the second half, which comes after the break.
Tonight on Flashpoint. The New York Times says it's so unbelievable, it's now believable. Come on down to the Blind Spot and get 15% off new and used cars.
Warning, blind spot may cause side effects including drowsiness, headaches, nausea, rashy skin, anal leakage, and an overwhelming sense of joy.
Moving into the second half, we wonder if the worst is over for Virtus.pro. It's their turn to be the aggressors if Mad Lions will allow them. The way Mad Lions finished that, well, just ran through him in that entire half. Maybe they'll look to do the same on the CT side and just try and dominate and strike fear into the hearts of Virtus.pro, which was certainly the case on that B bomb site in the first half. But first comes the second pistol. Virtus.pro definitely need some points here.
They definitely do. especially because this is a map that Mad Lions have beat Liquid on recently. They beat Fnatic on this in overtime here at Flashpoint. It's a map that Mad Lions have been great on, so I think this pistol round just has to come through for VP. Otherwise, you've got to assume Mad Lions will be able to run away with this. Now, VP have got the long control they were looking for. They also have a P250 for this long-range fight, if it were to come through, but the rotate is starting, and Shush has already landed that first shot.
Well, there goes the P250. Nobody bothered to pick it up either, so just the Glocks as they've closed the distance now, but that will give them extra bullets. There we go. Sanji will open the proceedings for Virtus.pro. Shush has got a very nice angle, though. If they're compelled to try and plant the bomb, that could strike trouble for Virtus.pro. From the back, oh, suddenly they'll jump through the smoke and find him at the very least. Looking to plant now. There's no more flanking to be had, but Refresh is here with the Julies. And now it's Roy 1 versus 2, deleted by Sanji, who gets 3k in the pistol round. Looking for that bonus money from the bomb plant, won't get that, but very crucial kills there for Virtus.pro, especially spotted at range down long. They will take the pistol, so both teams take their T pistol. Now, can they avoid a force buy?
Sanji there wrapping around the site to begin with, and then VP makes sure they all push that smoke together to make it really difficult for Shush to land the shot. This buy from VP is not that focused on weaponry. They've gone much more for utility into this second round buy. We've got a bunch of Mac 10s, we've got an MP5 for Yakinda, and we've got some early aggression from Sanji. He's rushing through Monster. His teammates aren't that close behind him though. The spacing's slightly off here, but the flash is good to allow an early kill from Buster. They're getting stopped in their tracks though. The Deegs are doing so much damage right now. Roy looking to do even more. Drops the smoke at his feet. Oh, Buster's been caught, and it's only the AK of James left. This is a disaster.
It really is. 35 HP versus 4. What can he even expect to do? Got a one-way smokes from Mad Lions looking over the barrels. And often Sanji going in first with a Mac 10, he's going to take one for the team there. He's going to absorb the bullets for the president. But there's almost no one left, and soon there won't be anybody left. Absolute deletion. They do not avoid the force buy whatsoever. Mad Lions, top and bottom, looking completely dominant, it seems, on Overpass. Shush was a real problem here. You can see Buster trying to jump on the barrels, got stuck and jumped in front of them instead. Made himself a sitting duck.
It looked like VP were trying to split there, I guess, with 2 players through Monster, but Sanji goes down early, and then that looked like a team flash from Yakinda onto his teammate who was pushing short, which just makes it even easier for Mad Lions on the hold. And now this is getting to desperate measures for VP at this point. They go for a force buy, but if they lose this, their losing bonus is really bad. They're going to be so far behind. VP kind of need to win this round now, and this time they have the weaker weapons.
Oh boy. Well, doesn't help Virtus.pro, that's for sure. They're absolutely ready. Walking into the Gatling guns here, Shush able to defend Monster despite being completely blind. And the deletions keep on coming. Now it's Buster. 1 versus 4 with the Desert Eagle. Had a similar situation with an AWP on the other side and it didn't work. This will be a tough one. He's standing here like this is where you'd boost someone, but there's no one left to boost. There's no one replying to the radio. He's alone. Just him and his Deagle by the sewers. The smell of ammonia and short B engulfing, overwhelming the senses.
There's some blood mixed in there as well.
Oh, God, man.
It's not very nice.
Why have you done that?
That's a nice shot from Buster, at least. Cost him almost all his health, though. He gets a scout. That bomb is still dropped firmly on the B site. At this point, Buster is really hoping that there are some massive mistakes made, but that will not be the case. Shush closes out the round. It is 12-6, and it is not a pretty sight for VP.
This is looking like quite the early bath in the first map of this series. But there will be more Counter-Strike to come, so just hold on to those taps for now. Very difficult start for Virtus.pro, but fantastic for Mad Lions. And again, this is just the first map of the series, right? And we can't say that Mad Lions are going to be this strong across the board. But from the evidence we've seen so far, it is a scary series if you're invested in this. They caught with a swing with the MP5. Worse than the MP7, save for the lack of tracers. So if you want to spray some smoke, then it has utility. especially if you're close to a smoke. If you're close to a smoke and you're spraying it, then it's a lot easier to punish your tracers. Every third bullet of most guns will give the tracer away. There's the ring of the bell, but if that was done with a Glock, it's not going to really offer much. These kind of ranges, you probably need to shoot someone in the head 3 times with a Glock to kill them.
Oh, this angle's not quite going to be there for him. Oh man, Shush reacts. He was the player who was low, so he actually could have been taken down with a headshot there, but not meant to be. Refresh is going to get up in their faces and gets another kill. This round going about as you would expect. I think the impressive thing for Mad Lions here is, firstly, Shush is continuing to be great for this team. He's, we heard, the best rated player in the tournament so far. It's very close, but he is still the highest rated. And secondly, A-Core hasn't had massive impact in this game, and yet still Mad Lions are winning 13-6. I think it has more come down to their teamwork and just their calls. You've got to give credit to Hooksy for that.
I mean, they've been collapsing on the B bomb sites a lot as well, and really closing the distance with grenades and obscuring visibility, causing a lot of problems for Virtus.pro. So I think the strats they were running, again, there wasn't much engagement around the A bomb site because of how passive Virtus.pro were playing. It's about a team effort after all.
KiNK with an early nade kill. Maybe that's what VP need to try and put some life back into them. They've got the man advantage. Shush the man to fall early. The top fragger on the server taken away from Mad Lions. Wow, that molly's landed right on KiNK. He's got to use a smoke to deny that. And VP are running low on nades. So using that smoke at this point in the round really is not ideal for the CIS squad. They now only have 1 smoke left, 2 flashes, and a single Molotov. So in terms of utility, VP don't have much. That means we might just see them go for an explosive push towards a bomb site, though. We could just see a contact play for VP, considering that utility is so lackluster. And with that man advantage, we don't need to see any aggression yet. And VP know it. 55 seconds left on the clock. They are still staying spread across the map.
See the bomb in a rotatable position by T-Spawn. You can see it on the radar. To be collected by Yakinda. And he'll head towards B, it seems. And again, you've got that lurk smoke up again. Maybe inspired by Mad Lions. What I like about this is, again, you can have 1 player behind it. You can have 4 players behind it. Could be an interesting way to mix things up. For now, it'll be Buster showing presence, showing some entertainment. But Mad Lions seem to have read what's going on. The bomb's been lost now ahead of a smoke, but look at these kills from Virtus.pro. Really keeping control of things for the most part. The charge comes in, and Hooksy has much to do. Trying to stay alive now, trying to buy that rotation from A-Core, who's got to deal with a flank from Buster. Successfully, he will. And indeed, there's 5 seconds to plant this bomb, and they're just not going to have a chance to do it. Surely it's too late for this. Surely it's too late. Hooksy casually reloading in the water. Mad Lions have done their job. Virtus.pro have failed again on Overpass. 14-6.
Oh, it was looking pretty good for VP to begin with, but 20 seconds left when they're trying to push this site, even with Sanji spraying back through the smoke and KiNK getting a sharp kill onto the site itself. Hooksy just stays alive, and then Buster had to run on the flank because he was so far away, so he gets caught from behind, and then VP just can't get that bomb back in time. They don't feel comfortable enough. It is now 14-6 in favor of Mad Lions, and honestly, this game, or at least this map, feels like it is probably over.
Yeah, I suppose Virtus.pro were waiting for that flank to activate. However, it did not go the way they were wishing. And not much has in this game of Overpass for Virtus.pro. Refresh now, elevated. Balancing on the rail towards short B. Nice angle to hold. Rock solid balloons in the party area. Big presence now from Virtus.pro. No lurkers around the B bomb site. Seems A-Core will be left in position on short B. And there'll be 3 towards A for now. Look at the aggression from Mad Lions. We'll see what Hooksy has in mind. There'll be some shadows for him as well before the T's come around that side. Good support grenade as well. Hooksy looking for the second one. Just took the first, running out of bullets, but he's got information for his team. And they still have Roy on long as well, so Shush can bait. If they try and push a site, they're going to be doomed.
I don't know how Shush managed to throw that flash behind him. I'm kind of impressed. 34 seconds left, though, and the bomb has been brought back by Yakinda. The B site is currently open. There aren't many nades left for Virtus.pro, and the rotation from Mad Lions will probably arrive in time. You can already see Acor's arrived on the AWP on the B site. He's got the first kill, and he's going to get the follow-up flick to the face.
Nice. That was absolutely delicious. Cheesecake off a flick. That puts Mad Lions on game points. All but the pistol in his second half thus far. Virtus.pro dismantled. Wow, that is really impressive.
Yeah.
Just went backwards. I've never seen that. Not like that anyway. Over the head I've seen, yes. Keita has some funky backwards running pop flashes with a right click, but that I have not seen before.
That was a weird one. Mad Lions now 15-6, and this one, again, it's not going to be good for them on Overpass. I still think VP have good chances on the other maps. I think VP are oftentimes a team that really like to go for those aggressive CT plays, and we just didn't see them get to do that much on Overpass. It always felt like they were sitting back on the B site and they were letting Mad Lions push them. On Inferno, we're unlikely to see the same. Roy's already got away with 2 kills in Connector in this round. I'm not exactly sure how, but I'm not going to question it. It's a 2-man advantage for the Danes. They are 3 kills away from closing out their pick.
Footsteps heard, communicated. Roy can hold an off angle. Oh, is he being baited actually? Let's see. He's looking both ways. Oh my god, Acor with the flicks. He came to play today. And then there were 2. Jane being very careful about potentially losing the bomb here. Running distraction now, trying to bait, but oh wait, Sanji will creep up. So that's been done very carefully by Virtus.pro, but there'll be instant failure afterwards. What does James do now? 1 versus 4. Can see the 2-man setup. 24 seconds considering running, but there's no real place to go. Oh, she's running out of bullets with the rifle, but that will be it. 16-6, Mad Lions with an utter deletion of Virtus.pro on Overpass from start to finish, from pillar to post. However you like it, Virtus.pro got absolutely wrecked by Mad Lions. What did you think of that series? Oh, that map, rather.
I mean, I expected Mad Lions to win it, but not like that. The coordination was the most surprising thing to me for VP. In some of those rounds, that round where they tried to push B, for example, Sanji was so far ahead of everyone. Normally you see them following Sanji right up, but
there's no trade fragger or anything. Utter disaster for Virtus.pro. Before we move into the second map, we will be heading